It all began on a chilly autumn evening in a small town where the falling leaves danced in the cold wind and the twilight whispered secrets to those who dared to listen. In a modest apartment filled with the soft glow of a single lamp, a young woman named Layla sat at an old wooden desk. Her heart pounded with a mixture of hope and trepidation as she carefully penned a letter, a message laden with dreams, confessions, and an intensity of feeling that belied her gentle nature. Every stroke of her pen carried the weight of unspoken love and the desperate longing to be understood. Layla's hand trembled as she wrote words that poured straight from her heart, words meant for a man who had touched her soul in ways that defied logic and reason. Yet, as the ink dried on the paper, an overwhelming sense of doubt took hold. Was it folly to expose her deepest self, to risk the fragile beauty of what she had dared to hope for? In the stillness of that moment, fear eclipsed courage, and with a heavy sigh, she folded the letter neatly and sealed it in an envelope. That envelope, resting in the dark recesses of a forgotten drawer, would come to represent every missed chance, every possibility that slipped away like grains of sand through desperate fingers. Time, as it often does, marched on with ruthless indifference. Layla, resigned to the confines of a life dictated by convention and duty, never sent that message. She allowed the seasons to pass, her dreams quietly fading into the background as she built a life marked by routine and responsibility. Years turned into decades, and the unsent message became a silent testament to a love that had never been fully realized, a love that lived only in the hidden corners of her memory. Yet fate, ever capricious and unpredictable, was far from finished with its designs on her heart. In a twist that no one could have foreseen, fate intervened on an ordinary day at a crowded railway station. Amid the swirl of strangers and the ceaseless murmur of daily life, Layla's eyes locked with those of a man named Amir. His gaze held a familiar sorrow, a depth of emotion that resonated with something buried deep within her. For a fleeting moment, time seemed to suspend itself as the ghosts of their past brushed against the present. Amir, too, bore the weight of regret, a secret, a memory of a promise unfulfilled. In his eyes flickered a spark that echoed the lost words of a message he had almost sent long ago, a message that, like Layla's, had been stifled by fear and uncertainty. In that silent exchange, neither man nor woman spoke of the past, yet both felt an undeniable pull, a magnetic force that seemed to whisper of a destiny that might have been rewritten if only the fateful moment had not been lost. The two began to cross paths with increasing frequency. A chance meeting at a quaint bookshop, a fleeting conversation by a coffee stand on a rainy afternoon. These encounters were like fragments of a long-forgotten melody resurfacing from the depths of time. Each meeting stirred in Layla and Amir a sense of bittersweet familiarity, a reminder of a message that was never sent and the love that might have changed their lives. But as much as the universe conspired to bring them together, it also imposed a cruel irony. Both were now tethered to lives that had diverged sharply from the dreams of their youth. Layla had married a kind and steady man, a man whose quiet dependability had provided her with stability, but whose love had never ignited the passionate flame that once danced in her heart. Amir, too, was bound by the commitments of his own life, married to a woman who had long ago become his anchor in the stormy seas of existence. Their marriages, built on duty and the gradual erosion of youthful aspirations, left little room for the explosive passion that the unsent messages had promised. Yet, in the silent recesses of their minds, the memories of those unsent words refused to fade completely. They haunted Layla in quiet moments of solitude, late at night, when the world outside lay dormant, and the only sound was the ticking of a clock echoing in the empty corridors of her heart. She would sometimes gaze at the unopened envelope hidden away in a drawer, its presence a painful reminder of a risk never taken. And Amir, as he navigated the predictable rhythms of his daily life, found himself repeatedly drawn to quiet spots. A park bench under a weeping willow, the dim light of an old cafe, places where he felt the ghostly presence of his own unsent confession. It was on one particularly overcast day, when the skies were a heavy blanket of gray and the chill in the air carried a sense of impending change, that fate once again wove its mysterious threads around their lives. In an unexpected moment of vulnerability, Layla found herself seated in a small, dimly lit library, seeking solace in the quiet murmur of pages and the soft rustle of ancient books. Lost in thought, her eyes wandered to a familiar figure sitting at a corner table, absorbed in a tattered novel. It was Amir. The sight of him sent a surge of conflicting emotions rushing through her, a mix of longing, regret, and a painful acknowledgement of the road not taken. For a long, silent moment, they sat in parallel silence, each immersed in their private sorrow and the haunting beauty of what might have been. Neither dared to disturb the fragile stillness that enveloped them until a sudden commotion at the entrance broke the spell. A burst of laughter, a clatter of footsteps, and the overwhelming realization that time, relentless and uncaring, moved ever onward. In the days that followed that encounter, Layla and Amir found themselves caught in a delicate dance of glances and half-smiles whenever their paths crossed. There was an unspoken understanding between them, a silent conversation that transcended the limitations of spoken language. They would exchange brief, meaningful looks that said more than 1,000 words, each glance a tender reminder of the unsent message and a love that lingered just beyond reach. Yet, with each meeting came the sharp reminder of their reality. They were not free to embrace what the other represented. The lives they had chosen, the commitments they had made, stood as insurmountable barriers between the yearning of their hearts and the pragmatic demands of everyday existence. As months slipped into years, the initial spark of recognition that had rekindled long-dormant emotions began to glow steadily, illuminating the hidden corners of their souls with a bittersweet light. Layla began to question the path her life had taken. Was it truly the stability of a safe, predictable existence that she desired, or had she merely chosen the road of least resistance, forsaking the passionate unknown in favor of security? Amir wrestled with similar doubts. In quiet moments of introspection, he would wonder whether the sacrifices he had made, every compromise, every quiet resignation, were worth the price of a love that had never truly been lived. And yet, even as these thoughts plagued them, the unspoken truth remained. Both knew, deep down, that the message they had once nearly sent was the key to unlocking a door that had long been closed, a door leading to a life filled with passion, risk, and the kind of love that could defy the passage of time. But life, as it is wont to do, is a master of cruel irony. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, does not always allow for the rekindling of old flames. Instead, it deals out its cards with indifferent precision, leaving its players to face the consequences of choices made and opportunities lost. Layla's husband, a gentle and understanding soul, had built a life with her that was comfortable and secure. He was a man who valued loyalty and steadiness, a man who had, perhaps unknowingly, helped her bury the wild, untamed parts of her heart. Amir's wife, too, was a woman of remarkable grace and kindness, whose presence had long provided him with a sense of order and peace amid the chaos of a world that often seemed overwhelming. These realities, the lives they had forged with others, served as an ever-present reminder of the impossibility of recapturing the past. Yet, even in the face of such immutable barriers, the memory of that unsent message continued to weave its tragic magic. It was as if the universe had planted a seed of what might have been in their hearts, and though the years had passed and wounds had begun to heal, that seed refused to wither. It grew into a silent forest of regret and longing, a forest where every tree was a reminder of the road not taken, every rustling leaf a whisper of a chance forever lost. There were nights when Layla would lie awake, her thoughts swirling with memories of youthful passion and the bittersweet taste of what could have been. The envelope, long hidden away, became a symbol of every moment she had let slip through her fingers, a tangible representation of the love that never had its chance to blossom. Amir, too, found solace in the quiet moments of solitude, his mind replaying the countless what-ifs that now defined his everyday. The silent question echoed in his heart. If only the message had been sent, if only the words had been allowed to escape the confines of fear, would the course of his life have been altered? Would the burning passion of his youth have ignited a fire strong enough to defy the cold logic of duty and convention? As the years passed in a slow, relentless procession, the encounters between Layla and Amir became less frequent, yet each one carried the weight of 1,000 unspoken confessions. They would catch glimpses of one another in fleeting moments, a smile exchanged at a mutual friend's gathering, a chance meeting in the park, a brief, charged conversation in a quiet corridor, and each encounter only deepened the gulf between what was and what could never be. Their hearts ached with the silent knowledge that the timing of life had conspired against them. The message, unsent and unspoken, had become an ever-present specter in their minds, a ghost that haunted the edges of every memory, every tender hope. And with each passing day, the realization grew that nothing could ever be changed. The past was an immutable tapestry woven with threads of regret and what-ifs. And the future, no matter how brightly it might promise hope, could never undo the choices that had sealed their fates. In a final twist of fate, one cold winter night, as the wind howled like a chorus of lost souls and the streets lay empty under a shroud of frost, Layla and Amir found themselves standing side by side on a deserted bridge overlooking a frozen river. For a long, heart-wrenching moment, the world around them fell silent. There, under the indifferent gaze of the moon, the years of sorrow, longing, and unspoken desire converged into a single, crystalline instant. They spoke no words, for what words could capture the profound pain of missed chances and the bitter taste of a love that had been forever deferred? Instead, they shared a look, a deep, penetrating gaze that conveyed every regret, every silent farewell, every hope that had died long ago. In that look, the unsent message, the weight of a lifetime of choices, and the echo of a love that might have been were all laid bare. The moment passed as quickly as it had come, leaving behind only the quiet echo of a final goodbye. Layla turned away, her heart heavy with the irrevocable truth that life would continue on its predetermined course, indifferent to the silent pleas of broken souls. Amir remained on the bridge long after she had disappeared into the night, his eyes fixed on the dark horizon as if searching for some elusive redemption that could never be found. In that quiet aftermath, as the wind carried away the remnants of their shared sorrow, both knew that nothing could ever change the immutable fact. The message that was never sent had altered the course of their lives irrevocably, leaving them with nothing but the haunting memory of a love that was lost to time. And so, dear listener, as you absorb the layers of this sorrowful tale, a tale of a message that remained locked away, of hearts that were forever changed by the weight of silence, and of souls that wandered the corridors of time in search of what could never be reclaimed. Remember that life is often defined not by the opportunities we seize, but by those we let slip away. The unsent message, like a delicate whisper lost in the wind, became the silent architect of a destiny filled with regret, longing, and the quiet resignation of two hearts forever separated by the choices of their youth. In the end, there is no grand resolution, no miraculous twist of fate that undoes the past. There is only the slow, inexorable march of time, a time that erodes even the strongest passions and turns fervent dreams into bittersweet memories. Layla and Amir continued on their separate paths, bound by the invisible threads of a love that had never fully materialized, yet remained an indelible part of who they were. Their lives, rich with the mundane details of everyday existence, carried within them the constant reminder of the unsent message, a reminder that some opportunities, once lost, can never be regained. As you carry this story in your heart, let it be a testament to the fragile nature of human emotion, the silent power of regret, and the enduring mystery of what might have been. May it remind you that every word left unspoken, every chance not taken, weaves its own tapestry of sorrow and beauty, a tapestry that, while marked by the scars of lost love, also speaks to the resilience of the human spirit. For even in the face of overwhelming regret, there remains within each of us the quiet hope that someday we might learn to accept the past, find meaning in our sorrow, and continue forward on the winding path of life, ever mindful of the message that was never sent and the lessons it has left behind. And so, this tale drifts on like a lonely melody carried by the wind, a melody of love, loss, and the eternal dance between hope and despair. It is a story that lingers long after the final page is turned, echoing in the silence of the night as a reminder that in the vast expanse of time, some loves remain forever unfulfilled, and some messages, once left unsent, become the very essence of our most profound regrets. In the quiet moments when you find yourself alone with your thoughts, may you recall the tale of Layla and Amir, not with bitterness, but with the gentle understanding that life's greatest tragedies often lie in the silent spaces between our words, in the delicate pauses where our true feelings go unexpressed. For it is in these silent interstices that the true weight of our dreams, our fears, and our unspoken desires is measured, leaving behind a legacy of what might have been, and a quiet sorrow that endures through the relentless passage of time. Thus ends this continuous narrative, a story woven with the threads of regret and possibility, a story that refuses to be neatly divided into chapters or parts, for its truth lies in the seamless flow of emotion and memory, echoing in the hearts of those who dare to remember that some messages, once left unsent, shape our destinies forever.